Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Hallmark Home Mortgage Television. Brock with you today, and I'm at Stillwater Hospice, and my special guest is Leslie Friedel, the CEO here. Leslie, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me.
Not a problem. So this is a little bit of a different episode for us. We highlight lots of cool events and new businesses, but you know, hospice care is so important in a community. So tell us kind of the mission of Stillwater Hospice.
Yes, so Stillwater Hospice's mission at the core is to provide comfort and guidance, compassion, comfort, and guidance through life's journey. But really what that means is we focus on the end of life, the time of life where nobody's really thinking about, and we focus on, you know, what do those last moments look like, and how does, and so that's really our whole goal, is to talk about end of life and then care for people at end of life, and also to provide grief support after someone has lost a loved one.
Yeah, and I know end-of-life conversations can be uncomfortable, but it's a journey we're all going to take, and this is a wonderful facility that really helps loved ones transition well. Talk a little bit about the facility itself.
Right, yeah. So here on campus we have a few different things. We have Hospice Home, which is our 14-bed hospice center where we're serving people who are experiencing crisis or experiencing symptoms at the end of life that can't be managed in another setting. So oftentimes you're not thinking, we're thinking about the pain, some anxiety, nausea, things like that we're able to bring people in and kind of just settle those things and settle down whatever's going on with them. And then hospice homes are really one of those places that's just unlike anything else in the community. We're the area's only freestanding inpatient center, and really there we're serving people of all different ages, from actually a few days old to 103 years old. I mean, oftentimes you don't think of end of life focusing on children, but we do serve children at Hospice Home. We also are serving at the Peggy F Murphy Community Grief Center, which is the area's only grief center focused on serving adults. And we're serving people through individual grief counseling, group grief counseling, and then also through specialty programs that focus on different types of grief or different types of ways that people maybe go through the grieving process.
Yeah, and this grief center is a wonderful part of the campus here, and it's free to folks as well, right? If they need that or they're going through that, this is a wonderful resource for them. And I would add too that you have space in this facility for different members of the community to come out and share this space, whether it's a team building exercise or an event or a meeting. That's something that's open as well, isn't it?
We really believe that this is a community resource for all of the community, and whether that's through getting grief support, utilizing our space, coming out and walking around the campus and the building. There's really a lot of I call it peace and serenity around this place, and I really view it as a community resource through the generosity of our donors is really how this is all possible.
Yeah, and I think it's great because you have a music room for music therapy. You got a lot of resources that folks can tap into, and I think the location itself here is so wonderful. We're right kind of on the corner of Homestead and Liberty Mills Road is where this campus is, and so you also have a nature kind of preserve that folks can walk the grounds, don't you?
Yes, we have an Indiana prairie here on campus. So if you haven't experienced Indiana prairie, it's made up of all plants that are native to Indiana. We are tied in through the Fort Wayne Trail system here, so people can be walking down the trails, kind of step off and come into a prairie where they can see all native Indiana plants. And then it's also a resource for our families that are here, either to visit a loved one at Hospice Home or they're attending some grief programming or grief counseling, that they can really walk out there and enjoy the prairie and just have that moment in nature.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of elements that make it's a tough environment to be in when loved ones are faced with something like this, but there's all the elements here to really ease that process, isn't there?
For sure, yes. I think that all of that, we believe nature's such a big part of healing, and we see that people are using that time to just walk out, see the sun, take that moment, and just kind of focus on what's going on. And many times we're hearing that it brings joy and gratitude in a time that is really difficult.
Yeah. Leslie, if folks want to get more information, maybe they have a loved one that it might be in need of services here, whether it's on the grief side or the hospice side, what would be the next best steps?
One great way is just to call us. We have people that are just there to just navigate what all we do or what services are even in the community if we're not the right place for them. So calling us is a great option. Our website has a ton of information, whether that's to look up for hospice or criteria for hospice, or whether that's to look up grief programming, it's all right there together. So there's a lot of different ways to get that information, but we love to talk to people and we love to help them through that. You're not out there Googling hospice and grief support, so oftentimes people don't know what to do when they get that diagnosis or they get have an experience an unexpected loss. So we really encourage people to just reach out and we will help navigate that for them.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Leslie, thank you so much for joining us today. We want to thank you for watching for another episode of HHMtv. I'm Brock saying go find the great things in your community. We'll see you next time.